And welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We're moving now into our final segment on this lovely Friday morning. And this one is all about healthy substitutions for basic food items. Now, in with us is one of my favorite persons, man, Dr. Cornelio Marfield, who it says here, naturopathic medicine. Did I get it correct? Naturopathic medicine and trained. Natural? Okay, I still want any look W. Sorry, Shans. And trained nutritional counselor. Dr. Marfield, one of my favorite persons, man. Good morning, sir. Happy New Year. And how are you?
Happy New Year's. Good morning.
Good morning. All right.
It's always nice to have you in talking to us about food, what to have and what not to have. So let's go there. Healthy substitutions for basic food items. Let's jump on into it. What do we have lined up?
Okay, well, last night when I was given the invitation to come on, I was asked about some of the basic things that we generally eat in Belize. I think we are cognizant that as a rule, there is certain delicacy on our plate here in Belize. You know, your rice and beans, your bread, your flour tortilla. I mean, a day without these is like a day without sunshine for Belizeans. and they have their place and their time, and there are certain nutritional value that you can get from all these staples or carbs-based food. But particularly as we are in a pandemic and probably we'll go through another year of it, we know having a strong immune system and getting the best of nutrients from our food is imperative. And so I was happy when I was asked to present on this topic because indeed many times we tell people stop eat this, but then what to eat?
Yes.
So my job today for the next few minutes is to give some suggestions of alternatives, food substitutes that we can use in place of our typical, maybe less nutritional and high carbs diet that we are so accustomed to in this community. And so I wanted to start out with a typical morning meal whereby we would generally have some flour-based product, whether it's a flour tortilla, whether it's bread, whether it's Johnny cake. Generally, an average Belizean plate constitutes of one of those things or even a combination.
True.
And flour by itself is not a bad thing. It's from a plant and it's basically from the original wheat plant, and then what happens is that wheat is taken to the mill and it is basically milled, and so we get white flour. The problem is many times when we mill that wheat flour, we remove all those nutrients, our endosperm, our bran, all the natural nutrients that were embedded in the plant. We actually remove those, and many times people use that and just sell it or give it away to their animals. And then we are left with this white product that we call white flour in our country. Now, as I speak, I also think about the economic implication of this presentation, because I know that we are in a challenging time as well when it comes to trying to even get a plate of food for some on the table. Yeah. So I have think over and over as to what I think would be a very good, fairly economic plate of food that is still nutritional and probably a better substitute for what we normally eat.
Yeah.
So generally, and you guys know for years I have promoted getting wheat into your normal traditional white flour. And so I brought a whole 5 pounds of wheat flour. I normally get this from Spanish Lookout for $1.25 for 5 pounds.
Okay.
So let's talk about economics now.
Yeah.
All of this I got for $1.25 a pound, and this is what I was telling you. This is what is the byproduct from milling a typical flour. And so this is not going to be used by itself because
what's it called?
It's just basically the wheat flour.
Okay, the wheat flour, yeah.
Yes, and so basically what you can do with this is that you can use 1/3 to 2/3 white as a start. Now, not everybody, because you know, with changes, we have to think about acquiring taste and even palatability of the way how the food is prepared. But I find, I now relocated my office downtown Belmopan, if there's such a thing. And I am right in them by the market square now. So I have my diabetes office, which I am speaking live from right now.
Okay.
And I also decided to kind of back up this because there is some financial payments that need to be done for the office, etc. So what I do, we have some healthy food items that we sell, and we try to provide a healthy breakfast, particularly for diabetics. So I do a lot of wheat products, like we do wheat Johnny cake, we do wheat turkey, we do wheat sandwiches, I do a wheat sub. And I find that it's going very well for the last few months that I'm out here.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's reasonably economical. Unfortunately, I didn't have time because I was just asked for this presentation for today, but I wish I could have done something live, and I know time is limited. So I just will give knowledge this morning, but you can use, just for a typical, let's say you want to make some Johnny cake, you can use your same white flour, but that has been devoid from many of the nutrients that is right in here. So you can use 2 cups to 1 cups of wheat, and you can get about 20 from a batch there, 20 Johnny cakes that is nice and palatable and healthy, and I promise you, you will reach the bathroom the next day because this is a lot of fiber.
Well, I was going to get to that, right? Because I think, you said it very clearly. Flour, there's no evil food. It's just a better use of your calories that you're talking about. Yeah. So what's the difference between having my Johnny cake or my flour tortilla made of wheat versus going for a white one? What is the difference that I'm making in that substitution?
Apart from the nutritional value that I will allude to that I said earlier, one, like I'm saying, this has in a lot of the B vitamins that is rich. You know what is interesting, Marlene? When I was studying in the States, and my first training was in medical missionary work, and so part of that you'd study nutritional counseling. And what I learned when we used to go to the different stores, generally where I was in Tennessee at that time, they don't sell white flour. It is a rule in that country that once you put a flour product on the shelf, it has to be fortified. So I used to find it interesting because you go through all this milling program to take out all these nutrients, and then when you put it back on the shelf, you still have to fortify it. The truth is, the plant itself have already been fortified. A wheat, barley, quinoa, all of these are plant-based grains that have been fortified. Unfortunately, I don't know, I guess it's a maybe more money-making scheme than anything else, but to be milling the flour and then just giving it, in its simplest form is not the best, because you lose the nutrients. So the wheat has in your B vitamins, which is so critical for your nerves, which is so critical for all the anxiety and stress that we are facing right now in a pandemic. So to me, eating simpler and yet nutritional is the way to go for this time.
Yeah.
And then apart from that, white flour, when we were small, Marlene, when kite contest, Nintamat, when we never had money for buy glue, you know how we make glue, right? We take some white flour, and we mix that up with some water, and man, we get with kite cake.
That's right, paper, that's the paste.
And we get with coconut thing, and we make the kite and the glue. And what it does, it sticks like a glue. Actually, the compound in that flour is called gluten. Hence, the name came about glue. So what happens is that is a sticky substance versus when I use the fiber. What happens in white flour, there is no fiber.
Yeah.
So you get this sticky substance that eventually mess up your liver, that will eventually stick up your colon. A lot of the colon issue, and I am a naturopathic doctor, so I deal with more referrals from people, diagnosis and prognosis. Nonetheless, I tell people a lot of their health start right in their colon. If your colon is a super system, and if these food are clogging it up, it gets mucated. You have a lot of mucus that is in your system as a result. Then you get a lot of bacteria. Then you begin to grow this tummy because it's a lot of empty calories that is sticking and it's not serving its purpose. So I would want to believe if you put the wheat along with it, and like I said, go to Spanish Lookout, go to Trading Center, it's $125 for this amount. I am of the opinion it's cheaper than the white flour. I wish there was a way that I would promote using just the pure wheat, but it's very, very strong, and maybe a Johnny cake will come out a little bit like polgorong. So we want to be wise. You know what? Polgorong either.
So balance it.
Right?
Well,
So
I mean, but you know that from like if you buy any wheat products, they have a little bit more weight than the white one.
The
But
white one,
And I appreciate that too, Marlene.
Yeah.
I appreciate that because then it means that you will be more, it's more filling. And so
yeah.
I can eat, I mean, you can eat one wheat sandwich and it's
Right.
filling. Sometimes you have to take about 4, 5, 6 slices of white bread to maybe get filled. So that's a very good point.
Yeah. All right, let's move on from the wheat to the next suggestion.
Well, all right. So still on the flour, one more substitute for flour. I went to Spanish Lookout too, and I got this. This is brown rice flour.
Okay.
So this is brown rice, which we can buy in Belize reasonably
Yeah.
at the farm marketing board. But what the Mennonites do, and I guess we can do too, is that they blend it in such a way that it becomes pulverized into a powder. I don't know if you can see the reading on this, but it marks brown rice flour. Now it's a little bit more expensive. It's $2 a pound. But again, this is heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, it is solid and it's a good substitute. It looks more white,
Yeah, it
but
does.
it's a good substitute to make your bread and to make your tortilla and all have you.
And you
So
use it
again,
the
for
same
someone-
way you use flour?
Pardon me?
You use it the same way you use flour?
Same way you would use flour. Same
Okay.
way. And then again, if you want to mix this maybe with some white, because again, everybody is different. People have different. That's why if you go and you've noticed every bakery wheat bread looks a little bit different.
Yeah.
Some wheat bread is a little different from Pandusa. Everybody
Yeah.
have their own little mixture to
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
and their
Yeah.
own formula and what they're waiting. But generally, you get a reasonable loaf of bread, tortilla, Johnny cake, even your fried jack. You get something a little bit more weighty and a little bit more and much fiber with the brown rice. So that's another idea. You can take the brown rice and blend it up and you use it as flour. Even breadfruit, incidentally, you can dry the breadfruit and blend it up and you get a more high fiber flour.
Yeah.
Just food for thoughts, okay?
No, you waste the breadfruit now. It needs to be fried.
I get it.
Yeah.
I had some breadfruit this weekend. I bought them reasonable at the place and I baked those. Man, nothing nice in our breadfruit.
Oh my gosh, yes. So brown rice flour, wheat flour in place
Wheat
of your
flour.
regular white.
I want to give one more suggestion with the flour. And you can, I mean, with Google, you could Google everything. Go on YouTube. You can get some green. Now, I know people are think no like papaya maybe, but you can get some green mix. A lot of people up north, I see they do like their tamalito and they put in greens in it. When I
Yes,
say green,
with
I'm talking like
chaya.
Yeah.
chaya and your kalalu.
Yeah.
You can blend chaya in a blender, and that extraction that you get, you can add it to your flour. And what you will get is a very green laden tortilla and a green laden fried jack. It might look funny, but it tastes good, provided you season it nicely, of course. And you put
Cornelio.
the extra touch. And so that's another way to get your nutrients in your white flour. You can get the same white flour. You go back to your backyard, pop out 4, 5, 6 leaves of your kalalu,
Yeah.
blend it up, get the extracted juice and add it to your kneading. I
Yeah.
give you that as a challenge. Really nice. We make a wrap from it. We do a wrap and it's really, really healthy.
Wow.
It's really, really nice.
So do
guys.
you dry it first, or
No,
because
you don't have to dry it. Actually, on the contrary, you want to get the juice extracted. So you just add a little water and blend it. And then just like how you would add your coconut water to your flour to kneading, you just knead some of that in.
Okay.
And when you're doing now, apart from colorizing or giving that color to the dough, you are actually adding nutrients, vital nutrients,
That's such a
iron,
great
and
idea.
vitamins C, etc.
And you could do that with carrots too. You could get
Yeah. I mean, you could get creative. I like that. You can
Yeah.
be very creative.
Imagine you make a pink tortilla for your daughter with beets.
I know, right?
Yeah. So I think because I remember, and everybody asked me after the time you came here and you did the moringa bread. Is that kind of how you do it?
Yeah, basically. I mean, I brought a moringa. Now that you brought that up, I actually I've also done spirulina bread. That's a more expensive green compound when I brought it from the States. But that's why I learned it in the States. They used to do spirulina bread.
Yeah.
Spirulina is a algae from the sea, but it's very, very nutritious. One of them superfood like turmeric.
Yeah.
But your moringa powder, of course, again. But so your point is valid. You can add it in as a powder Just like you're doing your baking powder or whatever,
Yeah.
you can add it. Or I am suggesting you can also pulverize and get the juice extra. So good
Okay.
point, well noted.
All right. Next substitution then.
All right. So now another issue. No, so now we talk about rice because again, a plate without rice is like a day without sunshine in Belize. Again, we know the average Belizean love with rice.
Yes.
You know, I mean, we love with rice. Reality check. But we like again white rice. Now, as the chairperson for the Diabetes Association, you know, here in Belmopan, we promote a lot of anti-white rice preparation simply because again, white rice is the same concept. It's been polished. It's been a lot of stuff have been removed from it. It has its place and its time, and it does have some nutritional value, but there's a high glycemic index in using white rice. Hence, it's not suggested for diabetics or for pre-diabetics or even in the prevention of diabetes. So what I would like to suggest, again, since we're on the topic of adding stuff, your white rice, you can add a host of things to it. You could do a vegetable rice, something that we prepare here as well for sale and for mainly diabetics and those who want to lose weight. You add, once you make your food fiber, you're going to prevent constipation, you're going to add nutrients, you're going to be more filled, you're going to lose weight. These are the benefits, and you get a lot of condensed nutrients versus that empty calories. So white rice will basically get you more enlarged and more fat if you are eating it, especially in the night, because in the night it takes about 4 hours to break down that particular food, white rice, and then if your body has already been breaking it down and storing it as glycogen in the liver, eventually what it does, it convert that glycogen into fat, and then the body creates a little bank account called fat cells account, and it starts big those fat cells in there, and it grows, and you get one big fat account, and then you begin to look, unfortunately, fat. So my suggestion is you don't eat a lot of carbs in the night, especially rice. Something that we need to change in our culture, because we know most people go home late and they want to eat this rice. Then worse if you go buy the food from maybe different stores and external sources, Chinese places, they put in MSG, so that adds to your misery because monosodium glutamate is a fattener by itself too. It's an excitotoxin.
Yeah.
So there is this vicious cycle that you're eating, you're trying to lose weight, you're eating, you're trying to lose weight. So my suggestion is you add a lot of vegetables to the rice.
To the rice. So it's
Vegetable
healthier.
rice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I want to jump in there because where we talk about healthy substitutions, normally when you say rice, people will say eat brown rice instead of white rice. But I find that's a tough sell for a lot of people.
Yeah. So vegetable rice is a better seller. And I accept that.
Okay.
Now, on that note, the problem with brown rice is, again, the way you prepare it.
It's
brown
hard to
rice
cook.
has to be prepared. You can do it in a slow cooker, you know, guys. And you can leave it overnight, and you can put maybe a little coconut oil if you can afford that, or some coconut powder. And it could be tasty, and put some onions and season it with some, you know, cayenne pepper and other stuff. But the key to it is that you have to add a little bit more water when you're cooking it on a stove, and it has to be cooked for a little longer. So a general pot of white rice can cook anywhere between 25 to about 30 minutes. Brown rice will have to go to about 45 minutes.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a fact. So a better option, like I said, add some vegetables to your rice. You know, you could do carrots rice. Yesterday we did sweet peas rice, and people like it. You know, you can add your sweet peas, you can add some corn, you can add carrots rice, you can get creative with your rice.
Cilantro.
Sweet pepper, I mean, you can do onion rice, you can do a lot of things with the rice, and it's more flavor, it's more tasty.
Yeah. Okay.
You could chop in your celery, you could chop in some cilantro, that is, culantro, nice.
Good, that's nice.
You know, I don't know if Marlene cook and so, but you take, I remember when we were younger, we take a little plastic bag and we put it right over the rice and we cut and down when it nearly finished. And man, you cover up with a little plastic bag and a rice.
All right, so let's move on to the next one now. What else do we have there?
Another substitute. Now, this is interesting. You can do a substitute rice. You should try this. And you can take cauliflower. I just came from the market. Tuesdays are market day, so I went out early. I paid $2.50 for this.